President Trump's insisted that he bears no responsibility for any spike in the number of people misusing disinfectant. Last week, Mr. Trump was strongly criticised by doctors for suggesting that ingesting disinfectants might be a potential coronavirus cure. Our US correspondent, Cordelia Lynch, joins us now from Washington. Cordelia, welcome to you. Mr. Trump insists his remarks were sarcastic.
Yes, absolutely. He suggested that last week after there was a lot of incredulity and condemnation at those remarks when, as you say, he touted this idea that ingesting or injecting disinfectant could in some way help people to battle coronavirus. Of course, scientists and many state officials were pretty quick to say that that is not the case, that it would be hugely dangerous if any of their constituents were to do that. Since Donald Trump's suggestion, there was a pretty swift spike in the number of phone calls to poison control centres across the United States, with some particular states saying they had had double the number of calls related to people ingesting something called Lysol. It's the American equivalent of Dettol, making inquiries as well about industrial bleach. That caused a lot of alarm, and so state officials felt they needed to correct the record. One of the states where this was an issue is Maryland, which borders District of Columbia, where I am at the moment, and the Governor, Larry Hogan, there making sure that everyone knew that it was not safe, of course, to ingest disinfectant. Donald Trump was asked about that yesterday in the Rose Garden.
Governor Larry Hogan specifically said they've seen a spike in people using disinfectant after your comments last week. I know you said they were sarcastic.
I can't imagine why. I can't imagine why. Yeah.
Take any responsibility?
No, I don't. No, I can't imagine. I can't imagine that. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So you see Donald Trump, refusing really to engage in this issue and certainly not accepting any responsibility. What he wanted to talk about yesterday was a new rollout of testing across the United States. The government's aim is to get 2% of the populations in each state tested. But it must be said, the responsibility and the financing from that will often come from those states rather than federal government. They want people to pursue their own paths, and that's the case, Colin, for opening up as well. We're going to see places like Texas this Friday start their phase of beginning to reopen. Donald Trump welcoming that on Twitter today. He's also been showing his support for protesters, talking about liberating places like Michigan and Minnesota too. And I think that is the dynamic that's quite unique to America that we're going to see play out, and lots of potential tensions along the way. This is a federal system, American individualism certainly on show here, and I think people have learned that they need to make their own choices rather than relying on central government.
Cordelia, thanks a lot.